Good morning, everyone. This is the session for WISE What's New, what's coming in 24-25 for all of our WISE products. My name is Josh Roy. I'm the product owner for the WISEid and WISEstaff applications. And joined today with Jada Shafai for the WISEdata application and WISEdash Yvette Johansson and School Director Mike Fuller. So for WISEid, the new functionality we're planning on releasing this next year, we're going to add identity API integration into the WISEid application for staff so that you'll be able to get your staff WISEids from within your HR payroll system. And then we're also planning to streamline the change request system for both staff and students so that you can self-approve your change requests, just verifying that you've consulted your district's documentation and it is a correct request to change the person's name, birth date, that type of thing. So that'll be streamlined so that other districts don't have to keep voting on your change requests, not knowing for sure if it's a good change or not. And then we're also planning for WISEid to add advanced person search functionality, so you can search for partial names, somebody by their last name and their birth date, or first name and birth date. Our search functionality right now requires you to have both the first and last name to search. So, and you have to have a full name. So we're going to change it so that you can do a partial name. Sometimes there's typos in the system, so you're searching for somebody, they were typed in incorrectly, so that'll help with finding that. And then for our WISEstaff application, the main pieces of functionality we'll be releasing this next year. Improvements to the data quality dashboard and reports so districts can find data quality issues. Improved documentation on the data requirements for the staff collection. We have a lot of new users coming in every year and they start from scratch every year. And a lot of things they have to kind of figure out. So we want to make it very clear what things are, making sure there's tooltips everywhere in the application. And then improvements to our notification system inside of WISEid and WISEstaff. We have a notification system and has an inbox, but it has a flaw in that the notification is only accurate as of whenever it was generated. And if it's already been resolved, it still stays in your inbox. So that leads to a lot of confusion whether the issue is actually resolved or not. So we'll be altering that inbox. So if a notification that was sent out is already resolved, it'll disappear from your inbox and then you won't have to waste your time trying to figure out is it valid or not. And that is my portion. That's it.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jada Shafai. I'm with the WISEdata collections team. So if you use WISEdata Portal, Advanced Credential Application, WISEadmin, that's my team. So for WISEdata Portal, I do have a lot of slides, so I apologize in advance. But please don't be overwhelmed. The changes that we have for the 24-25 school year compared to prior years, it's really not a lot. Many of the things that I'll go over are enhancements to the applications that we either have released or planning on releasing soon, and some of it are optional integrations that are available for your student information system vendor and for your district as well. So these are the topics that I'll going to cover through my slides. I'll start with the membership reporting. So membership reporting, we started that in the 22-23 school year as a pilot year. We started the pilot early on in the pilot year. We realized that there's a change that needs to be made. Districts gave us really great feedback that changes in the student program or in the resident district do change in the middle of the school year. The way we had it in the beginning, that you have to really end the enrollment, exit, and start a new enrollment just to reflect that change in the student residency. So we kind of took care of that. It required a large change in the data collection and the data standard. So we kind of really didn't do much in the first year of the pilot. So we extended the pilot in the second year. And we increased the number of pilot participants. We went from 7 pilot districts to 37, 38 pilot districts this year. And all large public schools, student information system vendors. They're all participating in the pilot, and we try to have a diverse group of different districts from each pilot, from each vendor, and also large and small districts, just to get different perspective and get feedback. So our goal is that next year, the 25-26, 24-25 school year will be a dual reporting year, where we'll open up the new application and the new process for reporting membership to all LEAs. Still as optional, we still have to do both systems, Sapphire, and also the new application. The official reporting will still come out of your PI 1563 report or the older process Sapphire. So that's not going to change. And then also then the goal, if everything goes according to plan, we will do the full migration to the new system in 25-26. Still undecided. Things are still undecided as to whether or not we're going to do dual reporting in the next coming school year. So we will have a decision within the next couple of weeks. So for the pilot districts that are already participating in the 24-25 school year, we're adding an optional data collection to incorporate a complementary data collection to support the membership reporting, which is daily negative attendance. So we're just asking vendors to send us your attendance data that you already track in your student information system. Nothing additional is required from your end. You just keep tracking your attendance as you usually do. And then we'll just get that information from your student information system and use it for additional validation so you feel comfortable with the data that you report to us related to your pupil count. This is really something we've heard from many of the pilot districts. There are some incidents where maybe a teacher forgets to mark a student as absent, so it looks like they return and then they get included in your pupil count when they really shouldn't be included. So daily attendance is just to look at scenarios where maybe the student was absent 90% of the time before the count date or 90% of the time after the count date. And just to flag those students for you to just review them so they don't fall into the cracks and you don't know what their situation is. And that's all that we're using data attendance for. So far, it's really just validations. We might have some reports as well, but we're going to talk again with the pilot districts to see whether a report is needed or not to show that attendance for students. CTE reporting, we're making changes in how CTE data is recorded in the next school year. They're minor changes and mostly to help you with your courses and how to select courses. So we're adding a course designation on the course list. If you look at the course list right now, you probably see some of the courses have a column to indicate, are they a CTE course, yes or no? Or are they a world language course? Which language do they serve? So just specific course attributes that will help you pick the right course. So we're adding a new course designation to show you the CTE department. The reason we're doing that is because a lot of times districts don't really know which course to pick for a specific CTE department. Some courses can serve multiple CTE departments. For example, computer science discovery, that could be offered as a business CTE department or a technology CTE department. So a course could have both. So when you select your course and send it to us, if the course only has one CTE department assigned to it, we will just assume that it's that CTE department. If a course has more than CTE department designated to it, we are asking the district to let us know through your course reporting or roster reporting, which of those CTE departments are you offering, or which one are you selecting to offer at your school district? This change is, remember, this is for the 24-25 school year. So for this coming December snapshot, you don't have to worry about any of this because CTE is always using last year data. So Jesse will have a lot of sessions to explain this to you and how to set this up before the actual collection of the CTE data. This is how it's going to look like. So the top screenshot, that's just the course list. I did hide a lot of columns because our course list is huge. But you'll see the roster code, the title, then the subject area, whether or not a course is a CTE. Then we're adding a CTE define. So you'll see some of them have only one CTE department, some could have multiple. And to let us know which one you're offering, if you see the other screenshot, you can send us the CTE department on the student roster details, specifically on this section. So you can send us CTE department if a course has more than one CTE department assigned or designated to it. Another minor change we did, if you go to WISEdata Portal, there used to be clusters that used to be called career pathway. Feedback we got from school districts that that's really confusing and they don't really use that terminology. To align with all of Jesse's documentation, it's now been renamed as clusters. The CTA department, that's also, if you go to the data element pages, also known as program area. So that's also have been renamed to be CTE department, just to make sense with, to just align with all the documentation that we have across DPI's pages. Another change related to CTE is for work-based learning and industry recognized credentials. This is a very minor, this is a small change, but also just to eliminate confusion and to match the documentation that we have about CTE. IRC used to be called certified. Starting 24-25, it will just be IRC. Work-based learning used to be called, or currently called, non-certified. It will just be called work-based learning. Dual will still remain unchanged. And then we also had program names that were under certified, but they're really not, and they don't require certification or license to the staff teaching it. So that is going to move under non-certified or work-based learning. So everything, all the program names under IRC will be labeled IRC. All other programs that are not IRC and they are work-based learning will be moved. Specifically, those four will be moved and be under work-based learning. This is how it's currently. This is how it currently looks like. So if you see the top screen, and I apologize, it's a little small, but certified, and it had all the IRC ones, but it also had the state co-op education and the apprenticeship, and then non-certified, and has all the 5 program names. In 24-25, there'll be IRC, work-based learning, and the 4 program names will be moved under work-based learning. In WISEdata, the way the place where that's reflected at is at the program type there, in the career educational panel on the student details page. So we're still keeping certified and non-certified here, just until people get used to the new terminology, but we're also reflecting the program name. So you'll see work-based learning and industry recognized credentials. parent guardian reporting, we started collecting parent guardian reporting a couple years ago. It was an optional data collection. It's still an optional data collection for school districts that are not participating in a national lunch program. But if your school or your school district is participating in a national lunch program, we need you to send the parent guardian information. The reason is we are collaborating with the Department of Health Services in Wisconsin for the summer EBT program, and we're sharing all the address information and the parent information to them so they compare it with the data that they have and send those benefit cards to the families. They do have addresses, but they truly believe that the SIS really has most accurate information about the student address and their parent information. And that's where parents and families keep their data up to date. So we're sharing that information with the Department of Health Services so they can then distribute those benefit cards. So if you're a school that is participating in the National Lunch Program and you have not sent us the student parent information or their addresses, you will get a validation message. So we started that last year, or like this current year. Next year, we're adding 3 additional data elements. And those are listed under here. So the legal guardian, this is to indicate if you're sending more than one parent or more than one guardian, we need an indication to say who is the legal guardian, where the student lives, their living arrangement, and who the primary contact is. So again, if you're sending more than one, we want to know who's the primary, who's the legal guardian, and who the student lives with. Student demographics. This is an expansion to our language list. We have languages, and we try to align that with the federal list. We did get a lot of feedback from school districts that they have students who speak specific languages, and those languages are not listed in our language list. So we're expanding our language list. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still at the parent. Parent guardian. Sorry, I apologize. This is where it will be in WISEdata Portal. If you look at the student details page, under demographic, there's a panel for listing the student parent and guardian information. The 3 new data elements we have are listed here. If you want to look at it at the API view, those are also available under the student parents. All right, now we're talking about languages. So languages, we're adding 6 additional languages to our language list. This really doesn't require any additional work from your end. Vendors will just get our language list, update their drop-down menus or their student information system. So you have those options available to you. So again, we're just adding additional languages. A lot of feedback have been shared with us that a lot of people maybe in Wisconsin, they speak Rohingya, that's their native language, but it's not available for them to select. So now it's available. Roster reporting. So if you were at one of the CTE sessions yesterday, maybe you've heard the breaking news. We are adding new courses in the next school year. Every school year, that's an annual process for us. We try to align with the SCED courses, and we update new courses and add new courses. So we are adding new courses. Some of them are new courses in different fields, and some of them specific to world language, where we're adding additional options for languages, indigenous languages and Hmong that we added last year. And then the big news from yesterday is we collect rigor level, and that's on a course each course is assigned a specific rigor level, and we have 5 or 6 rigor levels. Because of that rigor level and how it is designated to the course, it really duplicate a lot of our courses. And now we have a course list of more than 9,000 courses. It is overwhelming. Districts don't really have a use for those rigor level. DPI doesn't really use it either. So we are going to remove the rigor level. It's no longer a required collection, and we will deprecate all these courses that are not being used very commonly, that have a rigor level other than regular and general. So we are keeping, for most of the courses, we are keeping only the roster code that has rigor level general or regular. And for the IP/AP courses, I'm sorry, AP/ID courses, we are keeping the advanced and enriched because that's what most districts are using. This change is not going to happen in the 24-25 school year. We wanted to give districts some time to adjust, to update your course list, your course catalog in your student information system. But we are adding validation messages this year. So if you're selecting a course that will go away in the 25-26 school year, you will get this validation message, and it's a warning, so you can acknowledge. But in the 25-26 school year, all those courses will go away. And maybe you'll be happy to know this, but we are removing about 9,000 courses. So your course list is gonna really shrink, and it's gonna be easy to just go through. So in some of the new courses, an example of the new courses that we have here are Ojibwe. So we added this indigenous language last year, but we only added the 5 top ones. Just to mirror what we have for other world languages, we're adding 4 additional options. So you will have Ojibwe conversation and culture, Ojibwe for native speakers, immersion, and Ojibwe for young learners. And you'll see that for all the other 5 indigenous languages and for Hmong as well. Staff identity integration, Josh kind of alluded to this earlier, but this is a new integration that we're adding to vendors to implement. It is similar to the student identity integration. It's either going to be in your student information system or in your HR system, depending on how the vendor is going or where the vendor is going to implement it. But the idea is to allow you to create a WISEid all within your student information system or your HR system, and you don't have to go to WISEid and do the file updates. So this is just to help you streamline your processes. It's an optional integration. So I would say just if you're interested in this, check with your vendor, make sure that they have added this as an option for you. And if they haven't, just maybe ask them to, but it will be available in the next quarter. Another optional integration is address verification. During COVID, we ran into a lot of problems, and we really just uncovered that our address data is really not very reliable. There were incidents where we wanted to mail, or some school districts wanted to mail some gift cards or some incentives for students to get the COVID vaccine, but they couldn't do that because they didn't have accurate data for the parents. If you address the address data, it's still an optional data. You don't have to share it with us if you don't want to. But if you do, we are taking that data and validating the information. And once we validate that data, we will just give you an export in WISEdata Portal, and we'll tell you the students, we were able to validate their address. This is their valid address, and you can go and update that back in your student information system. And if we're unable to validate a student address, we can tell you this is unverified, so maybe go and check if that's accurate. We also hope to have an API integration for vendors, so you can actually, as you type a student address, it will validate that for you as well.
How are you doing your value?
Yeah, so we are working with the Department of Health Services. They have an API service with an address verification. Kind of like if you think like the post office, or when you go to like any online store and you type in your address and maybe you put an extra comma or you forget to put a default, like it just standardize and validate that address. So it just verifies that it's an actual address and it's available. So just formatting, fixing the formatting, editing the address. And I think this is also important, and a lot of districts already have some address verification services that they use and they pay for because of the district boundaries, and they want to make sure that the student resides within the districts or outside the district. So if you're paying for a service to check the address, hopefully with this new integration, you don't have to do that.
Our district, we send them with addresses, but every year we give the parents the option to opt out. Now, the DBT getting errors in WISE, indicating that, they need an address form. Well, the parents have opted out not to provide their address. So how are we gonna resolve that?
Is your school part of the National Lunch Program?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this issue came up in one of the open labs we had yesterday too, so I think that's something we're gonna talk more internally about to see how to handle that situation, for sure. If you wanna come up after and give your meeting, when we can take it down and get more information, just talk about that. Thank you.
I just want to add to that, and I don't know if there are vendors in here, like, I think, but for Infinite Campus, it's an all or nothing. When you're turning parent addresses on, and we possibly have a feature that we would only send addresses for your free and reduced lunch students.
Oh.
All or nothing. Then touching like $4 or $5 average.
Great, that's great feedback, thank you. So the next slides, I'm going to talk about just enhancements that we made on the WISEdata Portal. We recently added a course page in WISEdata Portal. Actually, we just released it this last Tuesday. This page allows you to see all your courses, filter them, download them, similar to the courses data element page, but now you don't have to go and look for that data element page. It will all be under WISEdata Portal. So if you go to WISEdata Portal, navigate to the resources menu, and you'll see there's a courses tab, and that screen will show you all the courses for the 24-25 school year. You can also see it for prior years, but the new courses that I was showing, those will only display in the 24-25 school year. So again, you'll see filters. We will probably add a CTE department filter as well, and all the courses and the course information you'll need. And you'll have the ability to export that list as well if you want to. Overlap and enrollment page. This was released before the conference, so if you haven't had a chance to look at it, maybe take a look. But this is to display students that have overlap in enrollments with another district or with another school within your district. A student cannot have an overlap in enrollment. Two enrollments should not overlap. So this is to just display all the students with an overlap in enrollment all in one page, so you don't have to go to a different place or click on each student to see who the school is and what the dates and what the exits and whatnot. So you can see the student information. You can see who the WISEid is and who that student first name and last name. If you click on details, you'll see more information. who are the schools, or the districts that both have an enrollment for that student, the type of enrollment, and the validation rule code that each school or each district will see. This was really confusing for districts because when they see a validation message about an overlapping enrollment in their WISEdata portal, they try to reach out to another district and they tell them, well, we're seeing this code. Please help us resolve it. But the other school district sees a completely different code. So there's confusion there and they can't really communicate. So this is to show you what the other districts see and what you will see. So you have both codes, and you'll be able to clearly communicate to the other school district that this is the code that they need to resolve. Message center, this kind of goes back, kind of complements the overlapping enrollment page. This is a new page that has not been released, but hopefully soon. I'm sorry, it says release. I was really hoping to have it available by the conference, but we're still working on some small tweaks. But this is a message center similar to what we have in WISEid, but it will be a hub where districts can communicate with each other about a specific student. So you can reach out to another district to talk about overlapping enrollments, or maybe you can reach out to the FAPE district if you have questions about a specific student. And you'll have a history of all those messages back and forth between you and the other district. And you can also use it to communicate with schools within your district. So it doesn't have to be a different district. So message center, again, it has to be around a specific student. You can't just go and start a message about something else. It has to be around a specific student, it was student centric, and the way you initiate a message is from the student details page. When you're on a specific student, you'll see a message icon, and if you click on it, you will get a pop-up window that'll show you where you can start a message and select who to send it to and where to send it. And then we'll keep the messages, the top screen, you'll see how the messages are gonna look like. And if you click on them, you'll see all additional details. We will not keep those messages for the entire year because of volume. We will probably purge those messages and delete them after 10 months. Question?
Could you be making those available in the API for the validation?
No, sorry.
Do we get a notification, like an email notification that we have a message?
Yes, yeah, you will get an email notification to your email address that is added into WISEdata Portal. And it will not display the message though, so you'll have to log in and see that message. Homepage, so we've done some redesign on the homepage and the data quality pages. You probably already seen that has been released a couple weeks ago. It's basically, we're keeping all the same functionality because districts are used to it, they use it, so we're keeping it the same, but we are just making it a little easier and giving you some color coding to know when to go and investigate and when maybe you just live with that validation. But the first step, you'll see that this is L1 messages. This is when your data is rejected and not making it into WISEdata Portal. We, in the past, in the older user interface, even if one of your records have failed and couldn't make it or was rejected, you'll get a red icon. And that was really alarming districts for really unnecessarily. It was really creating a lot of angst among districts, so they had to go and click and see what's going on. And L1 rule errors are really okay. It's normal to have some validation messages. Sometimes it's not really something that you did wrong or your vendor did wrong. It's really just maybe timing, or maybe you tried to delete something that's already been deleted. So you get another validation message. So it's okay to have level 1 validation messages. So we try to have some color coding. So if your vendor sends all your information with 0 L1s, it will be green. So the failure rate is really 0. So you don't have to worry about that. If it's maybe more than 17%, but less than 50%, that's orange. It's okay. It's still okay. You don't have to worry about it. But if it's more than 50% of your transaction are failing and not making it, maybe this is where you need to go and investigate and talk to your vendor. So we hope that just showing you the failure rate with the color coding will help you. So you don't have to be alarmed when you don't have to be. And at the bottom page, in the older interface, we had steps, step 1, step 2. Did your data make it to the API? Did your data make it to the ODS? Are things out of sync? And it was really confusing. And we got a lot of questions about it from districts because it was really hard to read and did not make sense. So we tried to simplify that, and all we kept is any of your data out of sync? Meaning that, have you sent us something and it's landed to WISEdata Portal, but it hasn't been validated. It hasn't gone through the nightly job, and it hasn't ran through all our business rules. Usually that happens, and it's okay when it happens. The next day when our validation job runs, you'll have additional information and everything will be in sync. This is from feedback we've heard from district. This is really useful. Maybe just the 2 weeks before the snapshot, because as they make changes to address validation messages, they want to go and make sure that things are in sync and everything is available and has been validated in WISEdata Portal. So I wouldn't really worry about this so much throughout the school year. This is something you might want to check just before snapshot. Data quality, again, we kept the same graphs. We haven't really took away any of the graphs that you had before. In fact, we probably added an additional one, which is high school graduation. But instead of always displaying the 4 graphs all the time, now you have some control and more space in the page. So you can just select an attribute. If you want to look at enrollments, you can select that. And then to the measures, you can look at enrollments by race, by economic status, by disability. So you can display that and make those selections. The validation messages graph used to be on the homepage, which is here, but it's the same. I did add critical errors to that as well. And then we just added a little section to show you the student count for your district. So that's tags for validation messages. This is also a new feature that has been released. We've received a lot of feedback from school districts that they would love to be able to add comments to specific validation messages. So we added a comments tag. Once you click on that comments tag, you can go and add your comment, and then you can save it or you can delete it as well. But if you want to go back and see that comment, that tag will be hyperlinked, and once you click on it, you will see that information. Just one thing to keep in mind, that anybody in your district that has access to WISEdata Portal will be able to see that comment. So it's not private, it's not just you. So that's just for you to be aware that it's everybody in your district can see that comment. Migrant status, this is coming up, but we used to collect migrant status from your student information system and display it in WISEdata Portal. But a couple years ago, we started working with the statewide migrant vendor, MIS 2000, and now CIS vendors can get that migrant information from the API and display it in your student information system. And when that happened, we kind of took the migrant status, so it's not even available in WISEdata. So now we're just adding that migrant status and it will be under the student demographic panel. And you'll see, this is just a mock-up. It's not the final design, but you'll see the migrant status in the school year, the selected school year. So it will be either true or blank. So if the student is identified as migrant, you'll see true. If not, it will just be blank. Snapshot centric filter. This is something we received from our customer service team to help them with their support, but I think districts will find this very useful. The idea is we wanted to add a filter in the validation messages page. You know how you can filter your validations to only view maybe warnings that have not been acknowledged or warnings that have been acknowledged? We are gonna add another checkbox to only see or display specific rules and validation messages that applies to the upcoming snapshot. So now spring snapshot is coming. You don't really need to worry about CTE data and CTE validation messages. So if you click that checkbox, you will only see the validation messages that are applicable to the next comment or the spring snapshot. So it will help you just focus your efforts and only spend time on the validation messages that will affect the snapshot that it's coming up. If you don't want that, you can just uncheck the box and see everything. But again, really the goal is just to focus on the messages relevant to the selected snapshot or the upcoming snapshot. Maybe within a month or two, we have a lot of validation messages, maybe over 300. So we just have to go and add that attribute to each one of the messages.
For the December snapshot, will that override this about the school year? So we both school year.
Well, so the WISEdata Portal is year-based. If you go to the 24-25 school year, you will see the messages for the upcoming snapshots. But if you go to the 24-25 year, maybe you won't see all the demographic messages, but you see the roster, CTE, the ones that are collected in the December school year. Yeah. We do have something that I would like to hear some feedback on from school districts, but you probably attended some of the sessions that the customer service team offered, where not all validation messages are equal. Some validation messages are not really going to affect your snapshot. Maybe it's not gonna affect your report card. It's okay to ignore some errors. So we wanted to add a tag to maybe say unresolvable. A lot of times districts come to us and it's like, how do I resolve this error? And just tell them, well, you don't have to, you can just ignore it. And I know a lot of districts don't feel right ignoring just an error message. So we wanted to add a tag to just say unresolvable. If you think this is going to help, let me know. If you have better ideas, also let me know. This is something we still haven't started working on, but we thought it might be helpful for school districts. So come to me after and let me know if that's something that you think will be beneficial to you. These are all the WISEdata Portal. Thank you very much. And again, just come find me if you have any additional feedback.
Thanks, Jada. So my name is Yvette Johansson. I'm the director of the data warehouse and decision support team here at DPI, and we do everything. Oh, we're still on the next page. We do everything WISEdash related. So I know this is called a what's new slide deck, but I also like to cover kind of what we released over the past year as well, because I think there's a lot of people that come into play, and so I think it's just good to cover that as well. So for WISEdash Public in particular, over the past year, we did roll out a new menu structure. So it's a little bit easier to find the dashboards that you're looking for. You don't have to click through as many menus to find those dashboards. So that was rolled out over the past year. There's also a new dashboard that we rolled out in WISEdash Public over the past year on data we've been collecting for a long time. So it's the October 1st health count of students with disabilities, but this was the first time that we had a dashboard in the public space for that. And that's including data from 2016-17 onwards, so pretty much from the start of WISEdata. So that is available out in WISEdash public. And then also over the past year, also obviously we had the new pre-ACT secure assessment that came out. And so we released new dashboards for that assessment as well. So then up and coming for WISEdash public, we have our annual release coming up in late March for all of the data that we took the snapshot for in December. Now we're going to be releasing into WISEdash public. So that includes data from the 23-24 year, so third Friday of September enrollment, October 1st child count of students with disabilities, and then also for the past year for 22-23, looking back at the graduation rate for that year, attendance, chronic absenteeism, discipline, and post-secondary, among others. So all that data is getting released out to the public at the end of March. And then we're also working towards getting the digital equity dashboard updates up and running for 23-24, so a little bit delayed in that, but we're hoping to get that out in the springtime. And then kind of a big change for us. So WISEdash public and both WISEdash for districts have been used over the past 10 years, really. So we're looking at kind of modernizing that service for folks. And so we're trying to look at alternate data reporting platforms that might serve us better into the future. So we want to ensure that that platform is both reliable, forward-looking, accessible, cost-effective, just so we can ensure the vitality of WISEdash into the future. So to that end, we're starting to look at options for refreshing the look and feel for that dashboard. So if you do, I have a slide a little bit later, a few ideas about how we could make that better. There's that feedback site we have, and I have the QR code a couple slides in for that. So then WISEdash for districts over the past year, one of the big dashboards that we released was the assessment analysis dashboard. So this allows you to look at all of the various assessments across the statewide assessment system. So forward, DLM, pre-ACT, ACT, looking at all those assessments all in one dashboard for a given school year. And that is actually particular to static data as well, that dashboard. So this gives you kind of a one-stop shop to look at all of those assessments for looking at the static version of the data, whereas most of the other dashboards in WISEdash for districts is based on current data that's coming through. So that came out over the last year. And then also, again, pre-ACT secure dashboards for that tool as well. And we also released the same new menu interface in WISEdash for districts as well, so it's easier to find what you're looking for. One other thing we did was expand the snapshot for courses down to grade 6. So previous to the 22-23 school year, we were only snapping grade courses for grades 9 through 12. But then starting with 22-23 school year, we snapped down to grade 6, 7, 8 to include those grade levels. And that was in particular for the arts courses and the world language courses. There was a real interest in getting those grade levels in the snapshot. One other new feature functionality that we released in WISEdash for districts just recently, just at the beginning of February, was some new dynamic crosstabs. So if you don't know already, dynamic crosstabs pretty much allow you to kind of slice and dice your data on those particular student demographics that you're looking at, but they're not in the group. The group by is by the student cohort that you would pick here. So we do have like the base, race, ethnicity, gender, etc. in the main group bys, but this dynamic crosstabs give us an easier way to give you more ability to slice and dice your data in a easier for us to develop way as well. So the new ones that we released just recently are immigrant under Title III, mobility of your students, and then also parent and military. So those are the 3 ones that we released recently. And then up and coming for WISEdash for districts. So again, similar to public, we're getting up and running with getting the digital equity dashboards and data flowing for the 23-24 data. School district library plans was added to the WISEadmin portal in the fall. And so we'll be working on getting that data, at least the metadata about the plans, available in WISEdash for districts, and then WISEdash public to follow a little bit later. And then up and coming over the summer here, Forward is going through a standard setting process. So we'll be working on getting that data up and available to you as soon as possible, but also in the midst of that, creating some new dashboards and making changes as necessary to reflect those standard setting changes that'll be happening over the summer. In addition, the ancestry ethnic origin data that's been optionally collected for the past few years. And so we're now at the point where we're going to create a dashboard for that information so that, again, you can create a student cohort from those, especially for maybe some of those ethnicities that are more prevalent in your communities. And then you can use that cohort on all of the other topics throughout WISEdash to do deeper analysis on those groups. And so, like I said, feedback is appreciated, especially as we look towards modernizing our tools. There's a QR code there to go to our feedback site. If you haven't been there before, you can both suggest ideas and also look at other ideas that are already out there and vote on them. So please go ahead and go to that code. You should be able to take a picture of it there and go to the feedback site and give us feedback. And then I did want to touch on a couple of new pieces of legislation that have been passed recently. So the first one here is for Act 12, and this is for the statistics of crimes and other safety-related incidents. I don't have a lot of information to share on this right now. We're working with the Department of Justice on kind of how this will be rolled out, but more information will be coming soon from DPI out to the districts on this collection. But I just wanted to acknowledge that it is here and coming in this session today. I do have a bit more information to share about Act 20 for Wisconsin Reads. And I just want to make sure I have the right things to share here in my notes. So this new collection only applies to public schools and independent charter schools. Choice schools are not required to submit this information to DPI. For 24-25, DPI will be collecting the necessary data through a Qualtrics survey, and that will only happen for the first year of collection in 24-25. So this, the data that is going to be sourced from the reading readiness screener, which will be chosen at the state level, that will come to DPI directly from that chosen vendor, even in the 24-25 school year. But the specific vendor has not yet been selected. We're in that process right now. So all of the other data that's required by the Act would come through that Qualtrics survey in the first year. So that includes names of diagnostic reading assessments, number of pupils identified as at risk from the diagnostic assessment, number of students who received reading interventions, number of students who received a personal reading plan, number of students who exited interventions, and the number of special ed referrals based on that diagnostic reading assessment. So all of that information will come to us through that Qualtrics survey for that first year, 24-25, but then for 25-26, then all of that will be incorporated into WISEdata. So the next year data will have all of that information for you for that. And then also for 25-26, we're looking at changing the date of the spring demographic snapshot. So right now that's happening in late May. I think it's May 21st for this year. But for 25-26, we're looking at pushing that out to mid-June, just so you have enough time to get all of that intervention information into your SIS and then over to us. So right now, so that would be mid-June 2026 for the 25-26 school year. And I did want to just get kind of a raise of hands if you think that will be problematic for your agency to move that snapshot out a couple of weeks to after the school year actually ends. So does anyone think that that might be a problem for their agency? Or any comments on that in general? Yep. Right. Right. It is tough. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead. Sorry, say it again. Oh, rollover for your system in general? Okay. That's a good point. And yeah, go ahead. So it's pretty much kind of the items that I had listed off before. So it's all the information kind of coming from that diagnostic reading assessment, because that is locally selected. And so then we need a way to get that information back from you to then report it out. Yeah, yeah, that's the idea. I would imagine so. That you would have it at the student level, especially for the 25-26 year when it's coming through, through WISEdata. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally understand that this is a big change, and I think we're still working through that, and so we'll be talking more and communicating more soon. Unfortunately, this data is due from the legislation, I think at the end of July, or sometime in July. So unfortunately, we don't have that wiggle room. Yeah. Yeah, it would be ideal to have done.
Is there any thoughts of integrating with other programs? Because for some of our interventions, we have them in a different program, not in our SIS.
That is a possibility, that we were talking to some districts. I don't know if Jada had any more information about some of the other tools that are collecting that information. That might maybe a possibility, maybe not for 25-26, but maybe in the future at least. So definitely, if you're using those sorts of tools, send in the help desk ticket, let us know what you're using and what you need from us on that. But thanks for sure. Yep.
All the things that you talked about that you listed, I don't see those lists on your budget.
Yeah, I think if you click the link, the Wisconsin Reads link, it goes to the Wisconsin Reads page and has an FAQ there. I think all of them are listed there. And yeah, I just didn't have time to put it in the slide there when I was confirming everything, so. All right, I think that is it for me. So I think I'll pass it over to Mike for school directory.
I'm Mike Fuller. I'm the product owner of the enterprise team, and we're responsible for school directory. I'm just going to give a brief update today. Probably, well, the big thing to know is that we're kind of reaching the end of a kind of a multi-year effort to modernize school directory. And the real big update for this year is that we have now released the school directory management application. That was something we demoed last year, and a lot of people were able to give us feedback on it. And now that we've opened up school directory for the 24-25 school year, it's available. And so it's quite a bit of a UI change, but we're hoping it's still pretty intuitive and still something that you guys will pick up on right away. But because it's a big change, you know, we'll fully anticipate that we might get some reports of glitches or reports of cumbersome workflows, and we definitely want that feedback. The CST team has done a really good job of documenting a lot of this, and so I think you'll be able to find that on the website to kind of lead you through changes. We're also doing a session later today to show a little bit more about school directory. But yeah, feedback is going to be definitely appreciated. We'll definitely be working on incorporating anything that we get from that. I think that's really all I have for school directory, but that's our big news for this year. So thanks. And I think this is our time for taking questions. Anyone have anything? Yeah.
With that conversion.
Yes.
Deprecated to new
Yes.
people that you provided or.
Yes, part of our integration testing with vendors this year is we're gonna check their course catalog and make sure that they actually display whether or not a course is gonna be deprecated, because that's all information available in the API. So every time we add a new course, we add a label that it's new. Every time we plan on deprecating a new course, we have a deprecated flag as well. If you notice too, in some of the deprecated courses in the description itself, it says do not use. So that's also available. I know not all vendors display that, but we are gonna be working with the vendors to have that visible for you and your student information system.
Okay, so actually, I don't think it was clear. It's when the rigor is taken in. Will, of the 5 courses that we have, we need to provide a complex saying these 4 are gone, and it's just the only active one.
Yeah. So that's all in the API and everything is labeled there accordingly.
Okay, as long as Mr. Kittle knows, then that would be great. It's great.
Only question for the programs. So in the descriptor, you've got this prior value field available with the populate event, so we can map from the old codes to the new code.
You mean the IRC word-based learning, all the program name types? Where it's actually, it's later, so we're not gonna change anything for the 23, 24 and prior. It's gonna be, so it's new descriptors, new descriptor IDs.
Right, you can populate field, which is what the old value was, so that we map the whole.
That's not what we're, well, let's,
Yeah.
you and I can talk about that.
Yeah, I realize the mapping might. be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
Might be easier.
we might be able to work something out, yeah. Other questions?
I'm gonna have another question, I'm sorry.
No, please.
One more, when WISEdata Portal was updated with that acknowledge, where you change it to acknowledge, where you just click it.
Yep.
And we don't have the selection box anymore.
Mhm.
Is there a way to get that box back? Because in a few of our warnings, especially the one where we have a section with those units, most of them I want to acknowledge, but there are maybe a dozen of them that I'm like, which I should look at those. The easiest way to do that when I have hundreds of them is to acknowledge all and then deselect.
You should be able to do that.
Anymore.
You don't? You should be able
Either
to.
acknowledge all, otherwise I have to, if I've got 200 I want to acknowledge, I have to like acknowledge, wait for you all to acknowledge. I can do that 200 times. I can't just say acknowledge all, they'll immediately go away and I can't pick the 12 that I wanted to know.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yes, yes.
And I don't know if anyone else has that problem, but when in large districts, you've got a lot of those. It's easier for me to say.
Acknowledge all.
I'm gonna deselect the ones I'm gonna really investigate.
Okay. We can, I don't want to bring back the old UI because that was also confusing because it was like doing the action, like the action you see, it's the opposite of what it's doing. That's why we changed it, but we can look into allowing you to deselect after you
Yeah.
acknowledge.
Yeah, because otherwise they go away and then I'm like, I don't know. If I need to look at now.
Yeah, no, we can work on that, yep. Other questions? Any feedback on the new tag? I've received one over email, so if you do have any feedback on that, I would like to hear it. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time, and we'll see you around.
You said something about the address, the students. Address that we hope about here, we're supposed to go or email her, that's what you know what happens, or a list or something that we were supposed to go next to, and list like years.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. That's.
Yeah, it's not a. How do I end that?